This episode of Capes and Lunatics is brought to you by Tweaked Audio. Get awesome headphones, go to tweakedaudio.com and use the coupon code Southgate to get 30% off, free shipping, and a lifetime warranty. Or you can get there through the link on our website, southgatemediagroup.com.
Recording has started.
Hey, there we are. Good morning, kids. It is I, Charlie, the Professor Esser, and welcome to the Super Connectivity. I am your host, as previously stated, and with me in the blue headsets that just bring out the blue in his eyes.
Phil Perich.
That's the guy. Yep, there we go. Yeah, do the Batusi. Batusi. Okay, hey. Speaking of Batusis, I like Shazam, and if you want to hear how much I like Shazam, you gotta scroll up or scroll down, scroll to the left or the right, and listen to this special episode of Capes and Lunatics tomorrow.
Episode 99.
Episode 99. Flip it upside down, that's just 66. Nothing you can do with that. That's just two people kissing. Just saying, man. Just saying. Episode 99, when we, the Capes and Lunatics community, will discuss Shazam. Shazam! I was disappointed that Gomer Pyle was not in it, but aside from that, is the one flaw in otherwise pretty good movie. Okay. You want to do this kind of different than normal and just start off with comic books, or do you want to talk Cloak and Dagger first?
Whatever you want to do. Do it up, sir.
Okay. Well, you know what? You made a point that we needed to talk Immortal Hulk, and I don't want that to get left out. So we're going to open up with the big one, Immortal Hulk. And not for nothing, they kind of leave us hanging on the whole Rick Jones question in this, don't they?
Kind of. Well, I mean,
yeah. Well, we get the narration, but that's just from Rick's book.
Oh yeah, sidekicks, which I like. They called that out too because that was from the Peter David run.
Yeah, well, you know, they do that here. You know, they got a lot of love for all of Hulkish history. You know. Mm-hmm. And a great, you know, like I say, a grand unified theory of the Hulk that I think works very nicely. Especially in the suggestion in all of this that, to be honest, I think, you know, the Hulk and Banner. Here's the big thing. My take on it is there is no Hulk, there is no Banner. There is only, you know, there's only Banner. There's one person who, you know, has dissociative identity disorder and sort of manufactures these ideas, but at their core, all of them are the same person.
Yeah.
You know, as I say, you know, the Hulk, you know, Banner made a gamma bomb. You don't make a gamma bomb unless you want to kill all humans.
I think,
you know?
I mean, between the dissociative disorder and I don't know. Well, now actually, after having a literal bomb dropped on him, I think there's at least a good part of Banner in there that somehow is just like, you know, I have to set up all these, you know, roadblocks for myself to kind of keep myself from either, you know, trying to take over or destroy the world. So it's like,
yeah.
Well, if this happens, this Hulk pops out. If this happens, this Hulk pops out. Remember Professor Hulk? Remember when he was there was a thing in his head where if he got too mad, he turned into like. It was like the Savage Hulk, but in Banner's body.
Yes. Oh, that was fun. That was fun. But what I'm saying is that in the end, the Hulk was Banner. That basically Banner was already smashing things with his bombs. Was already that basically, or as they did in Dark Reign, where they suggested that really it's not that Banner keeps the Hulk in check; it's that the Hulk keeps Banner in check.
Yes.
That the Hulk is the distraction that prevents Banner from really unleashing his hatred for humanity and the world. Mm-hmm. Because he is, you know, he's this scared little abused child who is he has a classic supervillain origin, you know. abusive father, super genius, never accepted by his peers. Finally snaps, creates on that fateful day, the horrific accident, and goes into that classic he was a nice guy until the accident a notion, since not really as nice as you might have thought.
Just kept it hidden.
Yeah. Well, no, but I guess that's always my point, is that he wasn't keeping it hidden. He was. Yeah. Here's what I'll say. I think he and Otto would have gotten along swimmingly had they met before each had that horrific accident. There's an alternate universe for you. But as we say, we open up with Jackie McGee reading from the Sidekick's book. We cut to Shadow Base Site B, where they're experimenting on someone. It's strongly implied that's supposed to be Rick Jones. In fact, I think at some point someone calls him Mr. Jones. But that does not necessarily mean that's actually Rick Jones.
No, you don't think?
Well, here's what I'll say. One thing that this run has taught me is don't assume it's the obvious. There's always this left-hand turn they like to do. You know what I mean? So that they will print it up, they will set it up so that everything makes you think you're looking at this, but it was all misdirection. A classic reference back to the Bill Bixby series, The Magician. I'm just waiting for Eddie's father to show up in this. Well, clearly our writer loves all of the Hulk history. This is Al Ewing, correct?
Yes.
Is our writer? Yes. It is just a great tale of this Hulk trying to, or like I say, it's like, is it Banner? Is it Hulk? Is there even a difference? I don't think there is anymore. And this is something that they've been working towards for a while now. I remember when they had the Hulk come back from World War Hulk and all this kind of stuff, and he was turned back into Banner.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes to the Avengers to demand his sword back. He wants his armor and his sword back. And it's this whole thing where he's fighting. It's like, you don't have right to take these things from me. These are my stuff. Yeah. And at the end, I think it's Tony Stark and Cap together say, you notice that he called it his sword, not the Hulk sword. Because it was that these guys aren't the different and I think that this is the thing with the Devil Hulk. I think the Devil Hulk calls himself the Devil Hulk because at the end of the day, he hates Banner. But at the same time, that's Banner's own self-hatred.
I think it's Banner not being able to admit to himself, that he wants to do certain things.
Yes. Now, we get in this. We have Betty, as she transforms into the Harpy, and a red Harpy. I found that interesting.
Is it a combo of Red She-Hulk and her previous Harpy form? Because Harpy was green.
Well, yes. Well, exactly. Now, of course, the Harpy that has been most recently in our books was Marlowe. Marlowe became the Harpy back when Rick was A-Bomb. So, I mean, it's an interesting question. If nothing else, it does have at its core this idea that these guys all have multiple forms, and depending on what's going on in their lives, they may take these other forms. That's something I didn't notice the first time I saw that. When they turn the lights on and they make the Hulk run, essentially
the soul rays or whatever, the UV rays, yeah. But that basically the Banner sort of splits out of the side of the Hulk. Found that to be that's an interesting artistic choice. Yeah, because they kind of melt. They kind of like melt when they change now instead of just like shrinking and.
Yeah, we're going for the body horror aspect of it. That's always fun.
So it makes me think of something else going on.
Yeah, and this is interesting, of course, when it all goes down, and they have the lights on, but of course, what's neat is that he, of course, runs into the shadows. Now, why should the light of and not for nothing, this is this weird psychological quality of it, because the light shouldn't change whether or not Banner becomes the Hulk or not. It's not like, oh, solar radiation is what does it. It's like, no, at nighttime he becomes the Hulk because the only reason he's not always the Hulk is because it's Banner's brain.
Mhm.
Banner is always trying to create this dissociation between his what he sees as his humanity and his Hulk self.
Well, if you remember back in the Hulk run, when Mr. Hyde came after them, the great Joe Fixit came out, and the sun wasn't completely down yet, and Mr. Hyde was like, it's not just the sun. He's like, you're just ashamed of what you are. I'm not ashamed of what I am, because even Fixit brought that up a few issues later when they were getting the Super Skrull was about to kill them. Joe Fixit was like, you're not letting out the green one. He's like, you either get over your mental block real fast or we're all dead.
Yes. But I like that it's Joe, because as those who will remember, Joe is the original Hulk.
Mm-hmm.
And most telling about that original Gray Hulk, he was aware he was Banner.
Mm-hmm.
And you see that when he actually first runs into the gargoyle. And he makes this point, not only am I the strongest one there is, but I'm also the smartest man in the world. And that's why I can create this thing to help you, gargoyle. So he doesn't say Banner, he says I am, and that is something I think that we've gotten back and forth with this current Hulk as well, that he sees himself as super smart, and we also, yeah.
Sorry, I was gonna say, and Joe Fixit, I think, is the most aware of what he is too, because he'll even admit he's a part of Banner. All the rest of them are just like, no, that's Banner, that's not me. But like, Joe will be like, yeah, when you feel anger in you, that's me. He's like, or I'm the part of you can't admit that, I think Joe is the most conscious of that he's a part of Banner.
Yeah, Joe is awesome. And what I love about Joe is that Joe actually wasn't Joe until the Hulk went to Vegas.
Yes.
We had the Gray Hulk long before Joe went to Vegas, but when he goes to Vegas, that's where he gets this name and we get this character for Joe. But part of that, he was just the Hulk.
Yeah. And when Peter David flipped the script, before that, it had always been Banner trying to make a life for himself and the Hulk messing it up. This time, it was the reverse. Joe found a way to repress Banner, and guess what? He was afraid that Banner was going to come out and ruin his life.
Yes, which of course Banner did. Because not for nothing, again, the Hulk, left to his own devices, as Joe Fixit, actually was just living his life. Banner's the one that wants to destroy the world. You know what I mean?
He had a job as like a leg breaker. I mean, he even fought some super villains. I mean, he fought the Absorbing Man around that time.
Yes, yeah. Oh, I love that episode. Just beats him turns into concrete. Why do you turn into concrete when you're fighting anyone? It's like, that's not a good idea.
At least with Hulk strength, yeah. I mean, Hulk can shatter concrete.
Yes, well, exactly. It's just, it is just a continuation of this very great run. I actually, I was listening to the Wait What guys talk about this, where they basically said it's kind of what they said. It's kind of like Alan Moore's Swamp Thing, where it's really awesome, and then no one is ever going to be able to write the Hulk as good as this ever again. That basically, it really, which I don't, honestly, I think that I've read some pretty good Swamp Things that Alan Moore didn't write, but I think that this really takes the Hulk in a great new level and reveals a lot. And like I said, I love the fact that we tease Rick throughout it and we never get him.
Yeah.
That we never get him tells me. Now, here's a real interesting question. Since we do see these different forms coming up, will we see A-Bomb or will we see Rick Jones Hulk?
I don't know.
Rick Jones Hulk?
Yeah, because they were like, remember they were experimenting on him, and then like he kind of, what was it, like a cocoon or something, where it like
and it's got well, and again, assuming that's Rick.
Yeah, but ooh, I was gonna, because at first I was gonna say, what if he comes out as like a green A-Bomb or something?
Yeah, well, you know who that also could be. That could actually be
Emil Blonsky.
Yeah, that could be Blonsky.
The Abomination. Yeah, because I was just looking at that right now. I'm like, that kind of looks like Abomination.
Yeah. So, who's to say that it was Rick? They dug Rick up, but, or someone dug Rick up. Again, this idea that we're assuming that what's being shown is what we're getting.
Well, remember, Samson dug himself up.
Well, or to be more specific, the Hulk dug him up first,
Yeah, but I mean, I think in the flashback, the last time they must have put him back, because I believe they showed Samson like breaking out of his own grave.
Yeah, and again, yes, and again, this is all post Franklin putting stuff back.
Of course, yes.
That's always the weird thing about this, is that this exists in this world that has been restructured. So, very interesting. But yeah, I mean, Immortal Hulk is just a great book. I gotta say, was it my favorite? I mean, yeah, I guess it's probably my favorite book I read this. Well, my favorite book that came out this week, probably the favorite book I read this week was probably Squirrel Girl. Squirrel Girl 50, or I'm sorry, technically was Squirrel Girl 42, celebrating 50 issues, although they go because it was originally 8 issues and then they renumbered at 1. And it's just a great piece because you have her fighting Kang. And basically, every time Kang tries to do something using time travel to defeat them, he realizes that she actually had done something in the past that prevented his plan from working, and so he keeps on going back and further in the past. It's just such a fun with time travel story, and I really liked it. It's a great place to jump in if you really want to get some fun Squirrel Girl reading done. I would say pick up issue 42, celebrating 50 years, because it was a lot of fun. Yes. Was there any books you liked this week, Philip?
Let's see. I know you were talking about it, but did you read The Amazing Spider-Man 18.HU?
Yeah. Oh,
the
man.
Gibbon.
You see, and I go so back and forth in this because I did like this. I love the Gibbon because of the Marvel Apes, and they do call it out at the very end. They call it out. And I guess technically they don't say he's dead. He could just be passed out. Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, he looks like it in 2. The way comics are, that he can be resurrected at any point.
Well, yeah, exactly. But they do call out the ape world, which I love. Marvel Apes is one of my favorite alternate universes.
And I do like that. They were pretty comprehensive with his whole everything he's done, because they even called out the storyline from the Spectacular Spider-Man from the 90s where him and Grizzly tried to be like crime fighters.
Yeah, and what I like about that is they even kind of suggest that Grizzly got another job, which would suggest when he got the job with Ant-Man, possibly.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
So that's a fun aspect of it. And then, Princess Python leaving her, that's sad. But they never call out Fiona Fitzhugh, which really bugs me. Now, granted, maybe Fiona and he really weren't ever really an item. That is a possibility that everyone just assumed they were dating because they were always together, but that really they were kind of separated. But Fiona Fitzhugh is one of these characters that I really loved from that series. He's the one that creates the device that lets them travel to the ape world. And that she doesn't get a mention, it kind of bugged me a bit. But yeah, it really gives such a great, comprehensive story of the Gibbon and makes you really feel for the Gibbon. Which I already did. That's the thing for me. It's like I already felt for the Gibbon. I really loved the Gibbon as a character. Ever since the Marvel Apes, he was just such a great character. It's like Battlestar fighting the Marvel zombies. It's these stories that they've created that I think kind of raise these characters' status up, but they don't get too much play in the greater Marvel universe. I'd really like to see some more Battlestar out there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you might like.
But yeah.
Did you read Marvel
What?
Team Up #1?
No, I didn't get the chance to yet.
It's a
I
flip.
did not get the chance to
It's
yet.
a flip book.
I know. I saw that and it was tempting. I might pick that up next week. I have to decide. I got a lot of books this week. I'll be honest with you. I got way more books than I normally would.
It's just interesting because it's a flip book, because it's the same story, but it's like from both their perspectives. The one story, Peter Parker's perspective, and the other one's from Kamala's perspective.
Yeah.
Until they actually meet.
That's pretty cool.
And they have to face off against that horrible scientist, Miles Warren, the Jackal.
Well, he is a jerk. Let's be honest here. Nobody likes Miles Warren.
One of my favorite parts is when the Jackal does show up to steal this device. Peter Spider-Man says, "Oh, thank God you're here, Warren." He's like, "I'm not the most hated alumni of VSU here anymore."
Good old Empire State University, where Reed Richards did not go. He went to New York State.
Oh, I thought he went to. I thought it was just like State or something.
Well, it's called State, but he was in New York. At least that's what they always implied. But State U, as opposed to Empire State, which is in the city. State U, I think, is actually on the mainland. Hot Shots was fun. Yeah, that was good. We get our Deadpool. Gail Simone gets to write her Deadpool. So I'm surprised you and Lilith aren't reading this, because it is a good book. It's apparently Tony Stark has sent Deadpool to retrieve the celestial nose goblin, MacGuffin. And at first, see, here's the thing. Here's what's weird to me. I don't think this is Tony Stark. Because first off, he's got the little mustache going. I don't think Tony Stark is sporting just the mustache at the moment. He's full Van Dyke right now, isn't he?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Yeah. So I get the feeling, because there's even this thing where they're sending these drones after. I think someone convinced Deadpool that Tony Stark was hiring him. I don't think Tony Stark actually hired him.
I say it's like old AI or something.
Could be an old AI. Could be the chameleon. Guy got to work. Yeah. So that was pretty cool. Outlaw has been infected with the celestial nose goblin, so she's like a little out of it right now. Honestly, it looks like a gigantic space booger. It's this big green thing, and it's like, and it just fell to Earth. It's like, you know what? I don't think that's the cosmic. Well, it is. I mean, grants immeasurable cosmic power, but only because that particular celestial had a cold that week. That's my take on it. Has the Iron Legion going after them. So really a lot of fun. Atlas Bear is a really great character. We got White Fox and Black Widow in here, and yeah, it's pretty cool. And then next week we're gonna go after some more Kirby Crackle. So next month. But no, I like Domino and the Hot Shots. It's a pretty good book. Like I said, I'm not quite sure why they decided they need to branch out, but they did. What else you got from me, Philip?
I know you read Avengers No Road Home #8.
Yes, I did. That's pretty cool. We get a nice little battle with Nightmare Empowered Hulk versus Nyx, with Rocket and Hawkeye shooting arrows as a distraction. I like what he says. What are on these arrows? One has a charge capable of blowing a hole in a Kree Star Cruiser. The other one is just really sharp. Yeah, and then we've got Hercules goes and squishes Ozzy. I don't know how to pronounce his name.
Yeah.
Oisius, yeah. The one who's like playing on all your guilt and despair, and then it's just like, I'm Hercules and I get up because I gotta fight bad guys, and then he gets to see he's just a tiny little worm, and he squishes him, as you do. And then Nyx lets Sunshine on Banner, or the Hulk, which turns him back into Banner. But Nyx now has 2 of the things and has to go to the house, and she doesn't know where the house is. I still say that's Agatha Harkness's old house. What do you think?
It might be. Yeah, I was trying to think what else could that be, but yeah, I don't know. Do you put the idea in my head? But I'm like, yeah.
Well, because no one else lives in a house like that. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, not in the Marvel universe. I'm not. Yeah, it's not.
Yeah,
really...
I mean, it was a DCO. They're going to the House of Mystery.
Yeah.
Unless they're going to go to the Amalgam universe, and it's the whatever house that was. They did have a House of Mystery thing, but I forget what they called it. It was like the House of Suspense or something like that. Okay. Champions was good.
Oh.
Yes. Everyone should be reading the Champions because I love the Mephisto story because you basically have Miles basically giving the reveal to Captain Marvel that he made a deal with the devil. Meanwhile, then while that's all going on, we jump back to this lady who's there to kill what's his name, Kid Nova. I forget his name. But then she finds out he doesn't have any powers and realizes there's no joy in killing him. So she decides to take him into space to go steal back his helmet so that then she can kill him when he's fully powered. Which, not for nothing, that is clearly we're going to fall in love on this road trip kind of storyline, clearly. But, but the Champions are a lot of fun, and the battle goes nicely. But the real story is, again, we get back at the end with Miles and Captain Kamala. And what's interesting is that one of the narrative conceits of this is you have Mephisto talking to Blackheart, who he's got chained up in hell, while he's torturing him. And Blackheart's like, I still don't get why you're doing this, Dad, and he's being real obsequious to him, which is kind of fun. But, he makes this point, like, well, I have all, me, I love to mess with the Spider-Man, with all kinds of Spider-Man. And he's a Spider-Man, so I'm messing with him. But he makes the point that, by doing this, he was too pure a soul to ever actually make a deal with me. But by doing this now, it eats at him, and it feeds his doubt and feeds his fear, and that is what I love. And we're going to extend his torment. And hey, we got Cyclops back. I don't know if that's kid Cyclops, grown-up Cyclops.
No, that's adult Cyclops. That's because I saw the solicit for it. Yeah, they were like, oh, he's finally reunited, but it's it's adult Cyclops who has the memories of hanging with them when he was. Yeah. Jean Grey set up a mental block when the teen X-Men went back. Like once they were gone, they would get those memories of that time when they were came to the future.
Yeah. Yes. And that leaves me with Captain America.
Oh, I was gonna say, I'm sure you read Captain America 9.
Oh, of course. I love Captain America. This is such a good book. Yeah, I mean, I still don't get what Lucan's ex-wife's thing is. With like, we'll tell everyone that he was really the other guy, just spreading the conspiracy, which I get, but also. Like, people saw them both in the same place, It's like, I don't know. It's a lot to ask, if you ask me,
Well, one, other people can wear that suit, Charlie. We've seen that. And two, we're living in a world of Skrulls and clones. And
yeah. Well, but not for nothing. In a world of Skrulls and clones, isn't that actually the path of the more likely path, rather than, no, actually, Captain America was a fascist the whole time, all throughout World War II, all throughout all of his battles with Hydra. He's always been a fascist.
Yeah, I know. But I mean, unless she's just playing in that seeds of doubt, because I mean, there's just some people who are just waiting for an opportunity to be like, oh yeah, maybe he is there.
And we've got Agatha
Carter.
Yeah, Agatha Carter here. Oh God, it's like, really? She's 42. She is younger than me. Okay. She is literally younger than me. You know, but they do call out, Dimension Z ain't nothing but a letter, Sharon. Which is just, I don't know. I don't. It's just a weird way to approach it when she's 42.
I know.
And that's what's weird to me. It's like, how do they jive it? How do they jive that? Yes, 12 years in Dimension Z. Now she's so old. Now this Dryad character, because I did not know who I actually thought that was supposed to be Black Widow, and apparently it's not. This is a character named the Dryad.
Yeah, I don't know who that. I think it's supposed to be a mystery. That's why she's wearing that hood. But on later pages, it's looking like she's blonde. I was going to say, is that going to be like the real Sharon Carter?
No, well, actually, who I think that is, I think that's what was her name? The original Zola's daughter from Dimension Z.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. I can't remember the name. Yeah.
Although
Maybe.
that would be weird because they said the whole thing where Sharon says she betrayed me, which was like when everyone was going to be like, wait, is Sharon the evil one? But that was also before Franklin put all the universe back. So who knows what reality is now? Yeah. But you will remember that when Sharon does come back, she makes this point that, oh yeah, she betrayed me. She's the evil one, blah, blah, blah. So that would be weird. But they also never resolved that because obviously she weren't, because I don't know. I don't know where they were going with any of that.
Unless it's Free Spirit or something.
Oh, it could be Free Spirit. Good old Free. I remember her. Anyone, or could be Diamondback. I don't know. It just has to take on a new name. But there is one other person who that could be. In the alternate universes, when they did the Secret Wars, there was a universe where Sharon and Cap had a daughter. That was the one where Ian goes to that universe because he gets in the infinite elevator and goes to this other universe just as the universe is imploding, and it drops him off there. And then when they go, they escape back into the infinite elevator and go to 616, floor 616. And then they never followed up with that again. So that could be her. In that case, she has like the Venom symbiote of that universe attached to her,
or even MC2.
Well, I mean, that would be a little hard to get someone from the MC2 into this universe. That's the only thing. That character actually came into this universe is the point, theoretically anyway, because they never followed up on it. But her and Ian came back, so that could be her from that. But we've got all these interesting characters now that we don't know quite who they're supposed to be. We've got Red Widow, although I did find out that there was a Red Widow introduced prior to this, but she seemed very different. The previous Red Widow they introduced was like another Black Widow kind of thing, but she was like a teenager, and they wrote a young adult novel about her.
Yes, I did read that. Yes, yeah.
But the Red Widow we're seeing in Avengers doesn't seem like that Red Widow.
No.
Yeah, it seems like a very different. Maybe it is. Maybe she's just gotten real hard and bitter since her last outing in the young adult universe. But
or reprogrammed.
Or reprogrammed. Anything is possible. But I gotta feel that new Red Widow is someone new, and this Dryad I think is someone, or it's not someone new. It's someone that we've been introduced to, but it's someone that we don't know yet. We get the prison riot, which is pretty good. We see the Ferner. And the Dryad makes his threat against him. And and we also see, but you know what? See, she's fighting with a bow staff. And Zola's daughter.
Yes.
Also fought with it was Night something or something like that.
Yeah, because like right around the time when Steve handed off the shield to Sam Wilson, wasn't there like a woman in a robe or something too?
Yeah. Well, that was her. Yeah, I mean that was her, and she had like a bow staff, and that was her whole thing. But then that was the whole issue with Sharon accusing her of still being loyal to Zola. Now maybe they're going to reveal no, that was actually just this whole triple level. We needed someone to go inside to Zola's operation to feed us the intel, and she was the best person to do it, and that's why we did that. You know, and oh, that's what that is. Okay. That final panel, I did not know what that was supposed to be, but what I guess that's maybe supposed to be Sharon.
What?
The last panel in Captain America, because they show someone watching the prison riot on their phone.
Oh yeah.
Is that supposed to be Sharon?
Maybe.
And
yeah.
again,
yeah. That's what I got when I read it. Yeah.
Not only is she 42, but she's also like a super healthy 42 who exercises regularly.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, Marvel, stop it. Anyway, yeah, but that was comic books this week. A lot of great comic books.
Oh, so you didn't read War of the Realms #1?
Oh no, I did read War of the Realms. Sorry, I just didn't get the chance to pick it up yet because they were out at my store.
Yeah,
but I did get on back order and I read it digitally instead. So.
No, well, I didn't hear you crying, so that's why I didn't know if you read it or not.
No, crying. What would make me cry about that?
Loki got his head bitten off.
Oh,
spoilers!
Please, please. It's like
I know.
You know, it's like, oh, it's different for gods. You know.
I know, because I mean, look at the casualty list this issue: Odin, Loki.
Yeah. Okay. Well, and again, we assume Odin's dead. We assume Loki's dead. That's that. In all these, and not for nothing, Ares was dead until he came back. You know, it's like it's different for gods. It's not the same. You know, if death were the end, death would be the end. You know, and we already know Loki's alive in the future, so he can't very well have died in the past. You know, it is your classic Bill and Ted conundrum. But yeah, so yeah, no, that's the thing. It's like him being eaten by his father is, you know, and like I said, not for nothing. It's like what, the third time he's died recently. That could be a glamour. If they want to do the cheap out, it's a glamour. You know, if they don't want to do the cheap out, it's
it's the first issue.
Exactly. You know, there's plenty more where that came from. Basically, is what we can say.
But I love some of the one-liners from Spider-Man in this, like when Freya's saying, "Indeed, the day we've long dreaded has come at last, my friends." And Spider-Man, one of us is getting a colonoscopy.
Yeah, Spidey's very, very quippy in this one.
Or when the Avengers show up to team up with everyone, and Cap's yelling, "Avengers assemble!" and Freya's like, "For Midgard," and Spider-Man yells, "New York is for lovers."
Yes, which is actually Virginia is for lovers. Not
I know.
But anyway, yeah, it's a lot of great Spider-Man dialogue, but you know, it's very quippy. It's very Spider-Man being. But you know, if you go into the old idea that he makes all the jokes because he's so nervous, then yeah, he's just really nervous. Like,
well, I mean, gods and monsters are walking the streets of New York now because you know.
Yeah, I love the Punisher in that one. You know,
yes,
it's just like so the Punisher. Well, guess I'm gonna have to kill a frost giant. Oh, mark my words, the trolls are also going to betray Malekith.
Oh yeah,
the trolls are, because when we see the trolls, they're actually pretty. You know, they're even like, "Oh wow, man, I saw She-Hulk first." You know, that they're really clearly just like two guys from just out of infantry, you know, and they're just like, "Oh, hey, man, no, guess we're supposed to smash some stuff." That's what I'm gonna listen to. So I totally get that. And there, if you'll recall, there was a whole thing with the trolls. How the trolls have no land, and you know, they may give them Australia. Or Antarctica. We'll see. But I get the feeling that the trolls do eat people, but they may want to eat other things too. You know, they may like, oh, yeah, we'll eat goats. Sure, why not? You know, we love Billy Goat's crap. Everybody knows trolls love goats.
But yeah, I almost thought it was funny when the Avengers show up with Thori and Blade, and Daredevil's like, "That's the Avengers."
It's like, I'm as surprised as you are. Well, but not for nothing. This is actually the second team that Blade has been an Avenger on, so
Yeah.
he shouldn't be acting so shocked that he's an Avenger. You know.
It's like, this is the main Avengers? This isn't like Secret Avengers or something?
Yeah, you know. Well, like I said, the vampire storyline worked out at the end, so they turned me around on that, man. That tells you, and that's the mark of a good comic book. When you can really not be feeling the story, but then at the end you go, oh, okay, I see what you did there. I see what you did there. And that is why, you know, Marvel comics are really good comic books.
Mm-hmm.
At least the ones I'm reading, you know. They probably have some lousy ones too, but I'm not reading those.
And then a little movie, or should I say a big movie, is coming out in 3 weeks.
Yes.
Endgame.
Avengers 4, Electric Boogaloo. We've seen a lot of trailers. They're dropping new little bits of trailer here and there. You know, actually, I don't think I've said this on the show yet. So, my theory. Remember when they had all that leaked footage that said, oh, why are the Avengers fighting in the Battle of New York again? Oh, clearly this is time travel. They're going back in time. No. This is Lewis's recap to Ant-Man at the start of the movie.
I wish.
It is totally it. It is. That's why like things are a little weird. It doesn't nothing matches up. Of course, because it's just Lewis just saying.
I know.
Well, you know, yeah, that's lady's super fine. You know, but no, that's my prediction. You are all that stuff that we're thinking is time travel, and that's why they released it to mess with your head, just like you know the Immortal Hulk, where they mess with your head. They let you think, oh, this is what it's going to be. This is what it's obviously what's going to be. And it's like, no, we really think we're that obvious? You think we're going to? Oh, here's a major plot point. Oops, we left that out in this glossy magazine. We weren't supposed to release those photos. We're dumb. No.
What if it is time travel? What if it's a means to an end? What if they? I don't know. What if they're studying the stones or something?
Well, yeah, but like I said, I get the feeling. I mean, anything is possible, Philip. Anything is possible. It is the end game, after all. But in this case, it just strikes me that is a perfect way to explain why they have all these scenes from Battle of New York.
Yeah. Because,
again, it is this idea that if Lewis is telling this story, it's going to be, oh, well, okay, man, remember that guy from Battle of New York? And the Avengers, they were all fighting all these people. You know? Then it gives you a reason why you got all this footage, all these scenes, and why they're reshooting scenes, because they're going to have oh man, this guy's like all crazy, you know. I can't do a proper Lewis. I don't have that.
I know. I wish that would be it, but I'm thinking it's time travel just for nothing else. It's 10 years. It's going to be their way, you know, for the people who are like, oh, I can't watch 22 movies. They're going to be like, okay, well here we're story, we're kind of going to review everything we've seen so far.
Yeah,
at least the highlights.
Which is the purpose,
we're not going to mention
Lewis, Philip. That's the thing. You do the entire past 10 years in 50 minutes, in 10 minutes.
I told you, I wish.
Because you've got to make a 3-hour movie, and we got to put the universe back at the end.
I know.
And satisfactorily defeat Thanos, and then reveal whatever the next big bad is. You know, hey, it's entirely possible this is the film that Thanos dies 20 minutes into it.
And then they all fought at this airport, and then Scott got all big, man.
I know that part. I was there, Lewis. Oh yeah, that's right. Oh yeah, I forget that, man. I forget, you know. And then, well, anyway, so then after that, you know, and then I just wanted to, and then like this guy in LA was fighting. He like had gravity powers. That was weird. I don't know what happened. I don't know if that's related to this or not, but there was aliens in that one too, so that was crazy. It's like two kinds of aliens all around the earth at the same time.
Man, and then there's this talking raccoon.
Yeah, now there's this talking raccoon, and it's talking raccoons, man. Everybody loves a talking raccoon. That is why he is in Avengers No Road Home. You know, especially because he is now an Avenger. He is an official Avenger when we come back. You know. Because not for nothing, he's kind of stuck on Earth, you know.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and he may want to hang out with these guys and figure out, okay, we got to blow up Thanos. You
Because,
know?
I mean, yeah, I mean, everyone else, all the other Guardians are gone. So, I mean, I'm sure he wants to try to help the Avengers. But two, yeah, he teleported in with Thor. So Tony Stark has a ship. Until Tony Stark gets back, he don't have no
Yes.
ship.
Well, I mean, he could go back to Nevidalar. Ooh, wouldn't it be great if we get some more Peter Dinklage in this?
Oh, that's true. I mean, Thor could take him back out. If Thor's still around, Thor can take him back out. But
Thor can open up his own. Thor has his own Rainbow Bridge now, which is kind of cool because finally they have that Thor can open up dimensional portals, which he hasn't been able to in the earlier parts of the story. Although it seems like he did when no, he actually just has the Rainbow Bridge taken back. No, the Rainbow Bridge was destroyed at that point, right? Because
yeah, didn't someone have to open it in Asgard? And
well, I'm trying to remember what happened with the Rainbow Bridge because I remember he says, "Oh, what dark magics did Father have to conjure to get you back here?"
Oh yeah, because didn't it get messed up in the first Thor?
Yeah, I think that's it gets messed up in the first Thor, but then they rebuild it by the time we get to Ragnarok. So I don't know, but yeah, so it's interesting. But anyway, but now his thing just totally just is its own dimensional portal, and that's useful. And yeah,
All right, before we run out of time, we want to do Cloak and Dagger.
Yeah, let's talk Cloak and Dagger. Let's talk Cloak and Dagger because that is a series that is back. You know, yeah, a lot of good things are out right now. You've got Cloak and Dagger. You've got The Tick back on Amazon Prime, and Twilight Zone over on CBS, which I guess we're not going to get the chance to talk to.
I mean, if you want to try to hit it, but I haven't seen it. I mean, I don't care. Okay, like I said, I don't care if you spoil it.
Well, here's what I'll say: it's really good. It is enough to make me say it was a great throwback to a lot of great Twilight Zones and even some Night Galleries. In fact, when it first started, I was debating, wait, is this just going to be like a remake of these other two comedian stories that one was on Night Gallery, one was on the revamped Twilight Zone? But no, it's its own original story, and it is so good. I mean, you kind of see where it's going early on, but it is so good. But beyond that, it's enough to make me go. If they had like one other show I really wanted to watch on CBS Prime, I might actually get this CBS All Access, but they really don't. I'm just not that interested in the Star Trek reboot. Yeah. You know, go to the future, man. I don't want to see more of the past. You know, but anyway, that's that.
With Black Bolt Pike.
I'm sorry, what?
With Black Bolt Pike, you know, the guy playing Pike is played Black Bolt in that Inhumans.
Black Bolt? Yeah. Okay. So there's even less reason for me to watch it now.
I mean, I haven't been watching it, but I'm just saying, yeah,
I didn't even know that was the same guy.
Well, yeah, because he talks in this one.
Oh, okay.
Doesn't have to make the stupid face.
I don't know if that's an improvement, but okay. We'll have to see. But let's talk Cloak and Dagger. So we jump, and this is neat because, of course, it takes place, they say, 8 months later, which makes you wonder, is this still pre-snap? Is this post-snap? We don't really know. No references to the snap, though. So whenever it's occurring, and there was not really a lot of references that I saw to the rest of the Marvel Cinematic Universe in this. I did not think. Although we do get opening up with basically both Cloak and Dagger sort of doing their own solo superhero shtick. You know, Cloak is stealing money and drugs from drug dealers, which I don't know. Which again, it's interesting how that plays out. And then Dagger is out trying to deal with these people who are in the abuse support group, which is an interesting aspect as well. But in both cases, they both find it failing. What is interesting in this is that at the very end of the first episode, because we've got 2 episodes in one, it ends up with this whole thing about, you know, the high-level meeting between the gangs being disrupted by someone murdering them, basically. And this is what's interesting is, you know, when Bridget shows up, she dismisses it. Now, of course, we all know Bridget is mayhem. We know that from last season. But of course, what happens in this is, and this is the big reveal, Bridget is now 2 people.
Yep.
And they kind of are doing that what they did with Kirk, you know, when he got split into his like aggressive half and his non-aggressive half, and you know, likewise what they did when they split the Hulk, you know, that all the this is in this person, all that's in that person. And I got to wonder if the point of this is that they are going to have to sort of merge her personality back together again at the end of it. And I think that's what I think that's what we're going for, because I don't think we've seen any powers from Mayhem yet.
They haven't shown him. Yeah, she hasn't.
Yeah, aside from just being a basic BA. So I think basically what has happened is that her light and dark halves got split.
Light and dark, you say?
Yeah, well, you know, that's how the dark energy and the light energy, you know, and we're gonna have to merge them back together. By the way, just real quick, getting back to War of the Realms, is it weird that like angels are like one of the realms here? And
well, yeah, they created that 10th realm once they brought Angela into the Marvel universe, because that's kind of where she's, you know.
Yeah, but it's just that they're all like, oh, but like that they're like Christian, you know, Yahweh-centric gods kind of a thing. It's kind of weird.
Yeah,
or you know, that, okay, you know, that they serve.
I guess they wanted to keep that Angela was like an angel or working for heaven or whatever, so they kind of try to shoot.
It's weird how they played that. I just found it weird, especially just, I mean, honestly, it makes sense in the Marvel universe that, yep, they're all just gods, man. They're all just extra dimensional beings. But it's a bold choice to make. But and I like that they're on the side of Malekith for no particular reason. It like makes no sense for them to be on the side of Malekith, really. You know. But maybe it's like the Shayir, where they're actually, you know, they're not really good guys. They just happen to be hanging out with the X-Men or the Shire. You know, it's like, or the Kree and Captain Marvel. So the Kree aren't good guys. Just because Captain Marvel was a Kree doesn't mean the Kree are good guys. But
I mean, that's how the Todd McFarlane how they basically did it in Spawn, where it's like heaven wasn't necessarily like this pure good organization. They were just like the enemies of hell, you know.
Yeah, but yeah, it's all very interesting. But I do like this new Cloak and Dagger. It certainly brings us into it.
And it's interesting how like they've reversed the roles, where like now it's Tyrone living in the church, you know, basically homeless, and Tandy has like this family life with her mother.
Yeah. Well, you know, because they got they got their old lives back, and now it's sort of the balance, you know, because when we opened up originally, you know, Tyrone's, he's going to the elite school, his family's doing well, and now it's because of course Tyrone has warrants, because I believe the crooked cop got sucked into the cloak and never came back out.
Something like that. Yeah.
Which makes me wonder if they're going to get him out of that cloak eventually.
Maybe.
You know, I don't know what happens there.
And like even like Tyrone, even though he's doing it for more honorable purposes, you could say, but I mean, he's ripping off drug dealers, where remember Tandy was ripping people off in this first season.
Yeah. Well, exactly. Yeah. And that's kind of like a weird thing. I don't know why Tyrone doesn't keep the money. You know, that's one thing you can always say about the Punisher. At least he kept the money.
Yeah, I mean, he's living in the church. I mean, yeah, I could always see him like pocketing like 20 or 40 for food, you know, food or something. But
well, I mean, you know, just give a nice big sack of money in the church, you know.
Or like, why is he? Oh, I guess I don't know if he's trying to get evidence, but why he's giving it to Bridget? I was like, why didn't you just give it? You know, drop it.
Well, charity or something. Interest, but more to the point, it doesn't actually. It's not evidence of anything.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Why is he handing it to Bridget? Why, if he doesn't want to keep it, if he wants to do good with it, why doesn't he just like drop it at a charity or an orphanage?
Well, I think because at the end of the day, he doesn't know the process.
Yeah,
it's like when Spider-Man would like web up a guy and drop him off at the police station. It's like 9 times out of 10, they're like, they'd hold him. And they'd say, well, can we make is there any kind of evidence we can put him towards a crime? And like, if you just kept your mouth shut, remember, like one of the foes of Spider-Man, what they do, and then one of the guys was saying, these costume guys, they're not cops. Just keep your mouth shut. Like 24 to 48 hours, they usually bounce you because they really don't have anything to hold you on.
Well, yeah, that's what I was thinking about that the other day. If Spider-Man webs you up in front of the police station, how is there even, unless you have like security camera footage, how is there even proof you're at a crime scene?
Yeah, well, and I suppose there is some ways to work that, and we can talk about that a bit with Shazam tomorrow, where that if you do a big enough presentation of your crime,
Oh yeah,
then
yeah.
it's like everyone knows,
Well,
But,
I guess in this day and age, if you pull off a big enough superpowered crime like that, there's 20 camera phones on you.
Exactly, yeah. So, but in general though, when it's just the muggers, and it's usually it's more about the embarrassment for the mugger, and you got webbed up, and it's kind of a corporal punishment kind of thing. But then again, most mugging crimes like that don't get prosecuted anyway. He stopped the crime. He made the mugger think twice about it, even though he doesn't get a punishment. At least he's like, you can't, even when that stuff gets off, it's like you feel it stuck to your skin. It's like for months later, you still have this residue. You can't get that dang web residue off. It's awful. Ruins your clothes.
But the whole Cloak and Dagger thing, are they like experimenting with like the costumes or whatever? Because like a lot of, was it just the one episode or both? Because there was 2 episodes this week. Tandy was wearing like a men's white dress shirt.
Yeah, well, you have her wearing, she was wearing like her ballet leotard underneath at one point. Yeah, which I thought was a neat, and that was one thing I was thinking. Well, last season Cloak had his cloak, and I really am and I even tweeted this. I want Cloak to have his cloak back because it was a really cool cloak, and they even like worked it in organically into the story. But I guess it got ruined or whatever. But he doesn't have the cloak anymore, and. And this is always a hard thing with these kind of things where you want a character to have a costume, but you also you have to have a reason why they have a costume. And they actually came up with a great reason for Cloak to have a costume. And the only thing I can think of is they maybe got rid of it because they maybe felt it was weird for Cloak to have a cloak and Dagger did not have a costume. Because they found a perfect way for Cloak to have a costume and no way for Dagger to have one.
That's what I was gonna say. I'd be fine with her wearing what she wore this week. Like you're saying, the ballet leotard underneath, and then just like that big, shirt over.
The shirt dress, yes.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, it's neat how it all worked out, and we actually have Mayhem meet Mayhem. We have the split personality of Bridget O'Reilly. But I did like the fact that there was this reference that it's the lower Mama Bridget. Was the lower there, which is one of these weird things that that's a real obscure way to say Bridget's the one who killed us. Yeah, that seems a lot harder than just drawing a beat.
Or I was gonna say, do you think either Bridget and Mayhem are splitting and recombining at different intervals? Because it didn't seem like she was talking to herself in the bar. Remember, she was in the bar drinking. Didn't it seem like she was talking to herself?
Yeah, well, when she comes out of the bar and she like throws up, and that's when we first. But then it's like in the reflection.
Yeah, but I mean, she could have been hallucinating that, or
Well, yeah, or she was just right there behind her,
Yeah,
or she's like multiple man, where the other person just shows up,
Because I'm trying to remember the end of the second episode. Did they show that Tandy and Tyrone actually saw another Bridget standing there, or?
Yeah, I believe they did.
Okay, because it looked like they were looking at something, but then I'm just going to say, the next episode, are they going to look at her and be like, "What are you looking at? There's nobody there."
Yeah, well, no, but actually, the thing is that clearly the timelines, and this is why it actually, because we see Bridget in the bar get the call about the murder. Although she does show up very quickly thereafter, Although actually no, because I think actually it was Cloak and Dagger who called her, and then she covers up for it. She calls into the cops. So,
well, the Cloak and Dagger call her. She gets to the crime scene, and then at least one of them calls the cops. And
yeah. So we're not quite sure what is happening here, but it does clearly look like when they separate. And that's the thing is, I think when they're together, maybe they're the integrated personality, but then when one of them splits off, that's when they get the separation.
Yeah.
And I think that's sort of where we're at with that. So it's a good start. I'm really looking forward to this on Thursday nights. I got to live tweet it because Maz was still sick. But we'll have to see if hopefully Maz gets better soon, man. He's having a rough go, but we'll see. We got to get back on the Punisher. Got to get the Punisher done before Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. starts.
Yeah, but I think I don't know if it's either. Might be. I know it's sometime after Endgame, so
yeah. Well, it's like next month, but Endgame isn't until like the end of this month. So
Yes.
yeah. So we got a little time, but we've only done 2 episodes and there's 13, so we got 11 more episodes to do.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, a lot to do, man. Anyway, but we can split them up. We can get it done. Okay. Anything else you want to talk about this week, Philip?
No, I think we hit a lot in a good amount of time.
Yeah, we got right about an hour, so I think we're where we need to be.
Oh.
Lilith can tell us otherwise. Yes.
To inform our listeners, it's season 6 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. that's coming up, right?
Mm-hmm.
It looks like episode 1 is May 10th.
May 10th. So we got a little time.
So a little over a month, yeah.
Yes, but scroll up, listen to our talk about Shazam. Shazam could be big. We'll see if it gets the word of mouth. Hopefully it does, because like I said, I think that this should do better than Aquaman. If it doesn't, it just tells me that DC fans don't know what quality is. But
yeah, I think that it's, in my opinion, it should. But
yeah, this should be as big. Honestly, if there's any justice in the world, this should be at least as big as Captain Marvel.
I'm big on
Yes. Well, that's my opinion. Philip, how can people reach you if they would like to give you their opinions on the bigness of Captain's Marvel?
If you want to tell me how bigly Captain Marvel or Shazam is, you can always email me, nightwingpdp@gmail.com, and on Twitter, I am @nightwingpdp. And if you want to contact any of the Capes and Lunatics, you can always call the voicemail 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES.
And of course, you can always write to me in that old-fashioned email way, the way I'm awesome possible, instead at superconnectivityblog@gmail.com. That's superconnectivityblog, all one word, @gmail.com. Of course, follow me on Twitter and I live tweet Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Cloak and Dagger and all these other shows when I get the chance to. The Orville @Charlie Esser. That's CHARLIE ESSER. Look for the 2 E's in the middle.
for quality. Bing!
There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been another episode of Super Connectivity. Please super connect with us again next week. Good night. No outro music this week?
It's not working. I'll add it. I'll add
it. That's popcorn.
Join us next time, everybody.
Hey, come on back, y'all. Come on back now. Well, now it's time to say goodbye to Phil and Charlie Esser.